Welcome back. I will now be previewing all of Sunday's and Monday's action of Week 8 in the NFL. Starting with the early bird game between the Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars. In London, as a yearly thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars to have their games over that way, it's basically their second home, to say the least. Coming into this action, both these teams are sitting at 2-5. They're both on 4-game losing streaks. For the Broncos, I've had such high expectations in the offseason, especially after the acquisition of Russell Wilson, and they have crashed and burned, to say the least, in the first third of the season. I'm going to give the edge to Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just, even though they haven't played that well, I believe they are better overall than when it comes to their matchup against the Denver Broncos. The Jacksonville Jaguars should be able to turn their season around and finally get their third win of the year. Coming back to North America, the Carolina Panthers are taking on the Atlanta Falcons in an NFC South showdown. The Panthers are sitting at 2-5, while the Atlanta Falcons are sitting at 3-4, therefore a game ahead of the Carolina. I'm going to give the edge to the Falcons. Honestly, at the start of the season, I never would have thought that the Atlanta Falcons would be in first place in that division, but crazier things have happened, I guess. So I will give the edge and the nod to the Falcons in this one. They should even up their record at 4-4. Chicago is heading into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Bears got a huge victory last week against the Patriots and are now sitting at 3-4, while the Cowboys are sitting at 5-2. Dak is back, to say the least. I'm going to give the edge to the Cowboys in this one. There's just something about this team. They've been so inconsistent for so many years, but I finally believe that they have a good overall team. It's hard to believe that they have a 5-2 record and they're sitting in second place in that division. It's pretty wild in my opinion. But I do believe, I have a strong feeling that the Cowboys should get the win, and they should move to 6-2. Miami is taking on Detroit. The Dolphins are sitting at 4-3, while the Lions are struggling, sitting at 1-5. I will give the edge to the Dolphins in this one. When you have a quarterback in Tua, as long as he can stay healthy, they should come away with the W. Arizona is heading into Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The Cardinals have been very inconsistent, to say the least, to start the season. They are now sitting at 3-4, while the Minnesota Vikings are absolutely red hot, sitting at 5-1. I'm going to give the edge to Kirk Cousins and friends. I do believe that they have a better team overall, and they should get their 6th win of the season, staying in first place in that NFC North. The Las Vegas Raiders are heading into the Bayou to take on the New Orleans Saints. Both these teams only have 2 wins apiece. The Saints have 5 losses, whereas the Raiders already had their bye weeks. They only have 4. The Raiders, even though they started the season off very cold and very poorly, I truly believe we'll be able to turn things around and get their 3rd win of the season, slowly creeping back up to that 500 record. The New England Patriots are taking on the New York Jets in an AFC West showdown. In any other year or any other circumstance, I'm sure the Patriots would be a favorite heading into this matchup, as Bill Belichick does have has his number against the Jets. But when it comes to this particular season and this particular matchup, the Jets are clearly favored. The Patriots are sitting at 3-4, while the Jets are sitting at 5-2. I'm going to give the edge to Zach Wilson and company. I just believe that the Jets, I've been underestimating them all season long, especially when you consider that there's the Dolphins and the Bills in that division, and the fact that the Jets are still keeping pace is truly amazing. So I will give the edge to the Jets in this particular matchup. Pittsburgh is heading into Philadelphia. These two Pennsylvania rivals are taking the field. The Steelers are coming into this matchup sitting at 2-5, while the Eagles are still the only undefeated team coming off the bye week, and they are sitting at 6-0. I am going to give the edge to Jalen Hurts and company. The Steelers, in my opinion, are going to be in a rebuild for quite some time, ever since Big Ben hung up his cleats in the offseason. So therefore, the Eagles should get the victory and still remain perfect. 2 AFC South foes in the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. I'm going to give the edge. Let me start off by saying that the Tennessee Titans are coming into this matchup sitting at 4-2. The Texans are 1-4-1. So therefore, the heavily favored teams in the Tennessee Titans should get the victory, and I'm going to predict that they will come away with their 5th consecutive win, sitting at 5-2. The Washington Commanders are taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Now, had Matt Ryan been the starting quarterback, I'd say this would be quite intriguing, especially considering Carson Wentz is behind the center for the Washington Commanders. Obviously, last year he was part of the Colts offense, but he's struggled, to say the least, so they let him go. So I'm sure he's got a chip on his shoulder. I'm sure he'd love to go into Indy to get a huge victory against his former team. And honestly, I think they have the team to do it. The Colts have been so inconsistent, And the fact that they are benching Matt Ryan for the rest of the season just goes to show how much faith they don't have in him. So the Washington Commanders should come away with the victory, getting their record back to 4-4. The San Francisco 49ers are heading into Los Angeles to take on the Rams, two NFC West foes. The 49ers are sitting at 3-4, while the Rams are coming off the bye. They're still sitting at 500 with a 3-3 record. I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers in this matchup. Christian McCaffrey played pretty well in his last game, or his first game with the 49ers, but unfortunately they were not able to get the W. I believe they will get it in this particular matchup. The Rams, for me, have been extremely inconsistent, to say the least. I've always heard about a Super Bowl hangover. I truly believe it is now playing a factor here, as we are now a third of the way through the season. So therefore, the San Francisco 49ers should get the victory. The New York Football Giants are heading into Seattle, two teams that I have to say no one would have predicted that they'd be in these positions and the success that they're having. The New York Giants are sitting at 6-1. The Seattle Seahawks are sitting at top of the NFC West division with a 4-3 record. I'm going to give the edge to the Giants in this one. The Seattle is a good team, but when you have Daniel Jones, there's just something about that guy and that team. They're good all around, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, there's a reason they're 6-1. So therefore, the Giants still should get a victory in this matchup. The Sunday night matchup has the Green Bay Packers going into Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Packers are sitting at 3-4, losing 3 straight games, while the Buffalo Bills are red hot, and they are now sitting at 5-1 coming off their bye week. I'm going to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills. The Packers, ever since Devontae left in the offseason, they just haven't had a threat on the outside. The receivers are inconsistent. Their O-line is inconsistent. Rodgers is inconsistent. Their coaching is inconsistent. They should just call themselves the Green Bay Inconsistent. That's just me. But jokes aside, I do believe that the Buffalo Bills should get the huge home victory against the Packers. And last but not least, we have two AFC North rivals in the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns duking it out on Monday night. Joe Burrow is definitely looking like his old self, especially from last year. Now they will be without their number one receiver in Jamar Chase for a few weeks, but I still believe that aside from him missing time, they still should be able to get the victory, and I believe they'll get their 5th win of the season against the Browns. Until next time, take care.